Hi, my name is James. I've actually been attending Hope Church since 2020. I've been a Christian or been saved for about 25 years. Before that, lived a little bit of a troubled life as a young man. Got into a lot of trouble, in my teenage years, and actually was probably arrested maybe 10 times before the age of 23. Ultimately, God made a radical transformation in my life. At about a year into being saved, the church that I attended in Southern California was actually starting a building fund that was very similar to the Beyond initiative that we're starting here. I learned through Scripture that there is one place in the Bible where God says to test Him, and that's in Malachi 3:10. And He says that if you test Him in this, see if He won't open up the windows of heaven and pour out such a blessing that you're not able to contain it. So I committed to give 25% of my income towards the building fund. And the first thing I put before the Lord is I really needed a vehicle. At that time, I was taking a Greyhound bus to work. I was making only about $6 an hour, and I really couldn't afford to buy a vehicle. One night I was installing cabinets with the employer that I had at that time, and the gentleman we were installing cabinets for had asked me to come outside. He proceeded to tell me that he had a truck. His wife and him had prayed about it, and they felt that the Lord was telling them to sell me the truck. And so I took the vehicle that night and continued to come back monthly to make payments to this gentleman. About 7 months into it, I came to make my $100 payment. He said, "My wife and I would like to just give you the vehicle." He says, "No more do you have to come by and make payments." And I knew that God was honoring my commitment to the building fund. So what I did at that point is I actually wanted to increase my giving. The job that I had wasn't going to provide for a family, so I upped it to 35% and asked the Lord for a better job. About 7 months later, I got hired on to the BNSF Railway as a locomotive laborer, and my pay increase was about double what I was making building cabinets. I decided at that point I wanted to get married, and I was actually seeking the Lord for a wife, so I increased again. And then within a year from that, God gave me my wife, and God incredibly met my needs. It wasn't at that point until I understood that all of the blessings that God gave me throughout the building fund were quality blessings. The job that He gave me at that time, I've worked in that job for 28 years and continue to have been blessed throughout that position. So when I heard about the Beyond initiative and what God was doing at Hope Church, my wife and I were, excited together, and we thought, what an opportunity. We had some things that we were really seeking the Lord about. We weren't seeing any momentum in God answering our prayers, and so we decided that we were going to commit to the Beyond campaign, and that we were going to ask God specifically that He would meet our needs in those areas. And God has done that. We have continued to meet our monthly commitment, and God is continuing to answer our prayers and meet our needs.